morning. I'm glad that you all braved the weather to be with us this morning. Do you answer when God calls you? Or do you send it to voicemail and think, I'm going to save that calling for later? Recently, my husband and I got the call to foster 2 children. And we took a step of faith and had some doubts about whether we could do it along the way. Have you ever made a decision, kind of thought twice about it in the middle? Well, I have good news for you. You don't have to do it alone. Jesus tells us in Matthew 28:18-20, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. The first thing that I want to point out is that he didn't tell us that we had to be perfect or have it all together first. We are all saved by his grace, and therefore we need to obey him and share our stories with other people to help them become Christ followers. That means we have to be vulnerable and share what God has done in us, through us, and most importantly, for us. He also never tells us that it's going to be easy or without sacrifice or emotions. There was a time in my life when I thought I could handle things on my own, and I would just call God in off the bench when I thought I really needed him. And I'm here to tell you that is a lie and an illusion. When I truly surrendered my hurt and my pain and intrusive daily thoughts about how if I just tried a little harder, maybe I can get what I really want. It was then that Jesus came barreling into my life as if to save me from the train wreck that was about to happen. I am forever grateful that I have surrendered my life to Jesus and said yes to accepting his grace and healing from the pain that I felt and listening to God's prompting and calling in my life. I have been changed by opportunities to serve in this church and in God's kingdom. I have been able to make connections on a mission trip to Honduras, and in fact, God has called me back there with the mission team in just 3 short weeks. And most recently, by God allowing my husband and I to foster 2 beautiful children who have forever changed my life. I know that God has placed them in our lives for a purpose and for a period of time that happened to be 68 days. They left and moved in with a family member just yesterday. And while it's been challenging in many ways, again, he did not tell us it was going to be easy or pain-free, but he promised he would be with us, and he has been. He has worked all of this out for his good. The waiting in between all of these things and all of these blessings and challenges that have been thrown our way is always hard for an impatient person like myself. But through all of this, I have learned that the love of Jesus has no language barrier and is not limited to just your family and close friends. When you love like Jesus, even strangers will notice it's a different kind of love. None of these things would have come into my life without fully leaning on God and knowing that he's ordered my steps. He has worked all things out, and even if I don't get to see the final product or the big picture, my small piece of his plan is significant and has kingdom impact. It matters because the work I'm doing is to glorify God and his kingdom. But you do not have to travel to another country or foster children to serve in the mission field. We are on mission for Christ every day. You can serve as part of a mission team by praying for others, greeting a stranger with a smile, donating a meal, spending time listening to someone who needs help, or simply sitting with someone where they are and showing them the love of Jesus. They may be on top of a mountain celebrating, or they may be walking through the darkest valley that they have ever had to walk. I encourage you to invest in your brothers and sisters and celebrate with them on the mountaintop or walk with them in the valley till they make it out. We can all do kingdom work, and there's a job for each one of us. Let me leave you with one last thought. When you feel like God is prompting you or working something out in your life, say, yes, Lord, I will follow you. Take the leap of faith. You have nothing to lose, and the kingdom has everything to gain. Thank you.